ownership group over there, I don't know, you tell me, front office, everyone, and the decision gets made for Drake Maye, which Mayo also claimed was his decision and his decision alone. Now, let's start there because I think that those are two of the important things that he mentioned in his remarks, and we'll play some more of that, including when he told the team. We'll hear from Drake Maye about what this opportunity means to him and everything else. We have some other Mayo sound as well, and we'll get to the Bruins game last night, that awful, awful Bruins game last night, which I have lots of thoughts on, and thank God they signed Swayman. But first, let's start with Gerard Mayo, Drake Maye, giving them the best chance to win and it being his decision. First of all, do you believe, how much of that do you believe? 100%, 50%, 0%?
50%.
Okay.
I think it's half his decision. First of all, I think gives us the best chance to win. Feels like it's becoming his version of in the best interest of the football team.
Yeah,
Bill's fallback. It
is what it is.
Like, I feel like any decision now he makes, okay, we benched Stevenson. We felt like it gave us the best chance to win, right? And there's such a vagueness to it. It works just like Belichick did for so long. The decision, I don't think there's any way it's solely his decision. And I don't know that it should be. We've talked a little bit about this when we were debating this all along the way. Mm-hmm. There's a direction of a franchise that is affected, so that brings in kind of ownership level. The most valuable draft pick in the Kraft era, so that brings in the ownership level.
Yep.
There's the guy who made that pick, Elliott Wolf, whose career could hinge on it. There's an offensive coordinator who late in life got his first opportunity, so certainly his career hinges on it.
Yep.
So and you built an organization on the C word, collaboration. And now I'm supposed to believe that it's turned into a dictatorship, a Bill Belichick type. Nope, I made the decision. I don't care what all y'all think, whether you sit higher than me or lower than me. Don't care what you think. I'm making the decision. I don't believe that. And it's fine because it's not who you are now. It's not who you are as an organization now. But you also got to the right decision that I've been asking for 5 weeks. So I'm not going to bitch about who made the decision. I'm just glad you finally made the freaking decision.
I'm glad they made the decision, too. I hear Gerard Mayo say that, and I think he's saying it to try and convince himself and maybe the people in that room that what he's saying is true about whose decision it was, not about Drake giving him the best chance to win. I think we all agree with that. I think that's basically a certainty at this point. If at the end of this game this weekend, the collective thought is, wow, Jacoby Brissett would have given him a better chance to win that game, that's maybe rock bottom of this franchise, like I would say. Like that's the worst possible outcome, is if the game comes and goes, all 4 quarters are over, and you look at it and you go, man, if Jacoby Brissett was playing, they would have had a better chance to win that game. That would be a tough thing. And listen, it's not like I would say, all right, put him in the next week, but that would be probably the worst possible outcome. And that's avoiding
Look at you, talk radio guy, going to the worst possible outcome.
Well, I'm just saying.
How about we flip the script and go to the best possible outcome? What
why
if he
don't
goes?
You just be quiet for a second. Let me finish my thought here.
Well,
Jesus.
why'd you go negative in the first 5 minutes of the show?
Because we're talking about getting the best chance to win and who gives them the best chance to win. And I'm saying
Drake Maye.
That Drake Maye does. I just said that literally 2 seconds ago, and that the worst case scenario would be look back at the game and think, man, Drake Maye didn't give us the best chance to win that game. That's all. It's a very slim thing, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anybody thinks that that's going to happen, but that's something that he's been saying all season long, 5 straight weeks. Jacoby Brissett gives us a better chance to win. That's been the company line. That's what he said, and we all know he's been lying about it, but it makes it sort of hard to take this seriously. It makes it hard to take any of the better chance to win comments seriously when he says stuff like this.
I ignore it. Anytime anyone says something over and over, despite changing facts or changing circumstances, I just ignore it. I don't care whether you're a politician, a doctor. Like, if I go to the doctor and he gives me the same answer when my leg hurts, as my head hurts, as my sniffles, as my cough, and he says the same thing, then don't I go, well, this guy's a quack. He's not even listening. He's not even looking. He's just giving me the same answer every time.
Right.
So when you tell me he gives us the best chance to win, just like you were telling me the other guy did, I ignore it. I just go back to what I see and what I feel and what I hear, because there's plenty we've heard, not from him. There's plenty we've heard from people that don't say the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. There's plenty that we've heard from Hunter Henry, the way he was reacting on Jones and Keefe to a question about Drake Maye. And those are the things that, to me, have value. Coaches just speak to control the situation, guide the message. I don't even know what you want to call it now, but it's meaningless banter. The reality is, this is what should have happened all along. Young quarterbacks need experience. Now, do I think there's a chance, if we're going to delve into the negative, is there a chance that he doesn't give them the best chance to win on Sunday? Absolutely. He admitted to it. You know what I love?
I watched 5 weeks of Jacoby Brissett, and I think that's a hard thing for me.
But he didn't throw 3 picks. And
it doesn't
there's
matter.
A chance
I'm talking about a chance to win.
No, but if you
Jacoby Brissett can't lead a drive, like he can't get in the end zone, like you can't win if you don't
score
a touchdown.
If you lose 16-10 to the Texans and Drake Maye throws 3 picks, then you could make an argument that Jacoby Brissett would have given you a better chance because those 3 giveaways, maybe they turned 2 of them into field goals, 3 of them into field goals. Like there is definitely a scenario where you could make that argument.
There is.
It's basically turnover driven.
Right.
If he really craps himself, and he admitted, I loved his press conference. Maybe I'm the biggest rump swab for Drake Maye ever. I thought from not sitting down, standing up like he was his own man, doing it his own way, to admitting he told the team, I'm going to be nervous when we go out there on Sunday, and then I'll settle in, right? But if he doesn't settle in, if he's nervous and the ball slips out, those famous clips in the old days where the guys go to throw the forward pass and it's just like whoop, right out of his hand, and if Will Anderson scoops and scores it, you go, bet you Jacoby Brissett wouldn't have done that. He might have got sacked, but he wouldn't have dropped the ball. So is there a scenario where he craps himself? Sure. Do I think it's likely through a 60-minute game? No, I do not think that is likely. I think we're going to come out on the end and see snippets of what everyone has been seeing behind the scenes, and that's development and growth. Today, one of the Mayo's answers was like, what does he bring? Arm strength and athleticism. He can't screw those up, can he?
Well,
those
no.
are like, right? I mean, those are inherent in his game. I don't know if he can read the defense. I don't know if he sees the blitz. I don't know if he sets the protection.
You can use your arm and try and make throws that you shouldn't make.
Sure.
You can try and run around and hurdle people and do, athletic stuff.
I'm all for it.
Smart to do. You try and hurdle somebody and you get knocked out of the game. Like that could happen, but in general, no. I mean, those are good things.
And didn't we talk about that yesterday? I'm kind of all for those things where maybe he shows off his athleticism or his arm strength on a stupid play so that he goes, okay, so I shouldn't do that again. Like there's certain times that'll be called for my arm strength and my athleticism. That wasn't one of them. But just right there, arm strength and athleticism, it's an upgrade. And a lot of people believe those two things are part of modern quarterback. You can't play the position, right? We had Bailey Zappi, we had Mac Jones, who had no arm strength and no athleticism. They chose to go in a very different direction. They have 2 rookie quarterbacks on this team. What do they have?
Arm strength and athleticism.
So I think they prioritize those 2 things that are strengths, and they're putting them on display.
Yeah, I agree. And that looks like the idea for this team. And in that vein, it's sort of interesting how they went 5 weeks with Jacoby Brissett, who's not – I mean, he's not got a terrible arm. Like, Brissett can throw it down the field. It's not like he's got a bad arm.
It's fine.
And it's not like he's not athletic. He can get away from the rush and stuff. But, we're not talking about a dynamic player in Jacoby Brissett. I think that's clear.
What did Gerard call him the first week? The slowest black quarterback in the NFL or something like that?
He did.
And that was by far – he teased us.
Right.
We all saw that game. It was like, are we underrating his running ability, his escape ability, his – fluidity as an athlete? And
I think in general, he read the blitz in the pocket pretty well in this 5 weeks. I think that was one of the few things he did.
He held on to the ball too much.
Sometimes, yes, but when he needed to get away from it early on, when they were really having trouble with the O-line. Once the O-line got better, he got worse, which is weird. I think that's, because like in the first 2 weeks, that offensive line was just a mishmash of nonsense. And then as it sort of stabilized over the last 2 weeks, he held on to the ball too long, and his weaknesses as a quarterback, I think, got more exposed. Drake Maye did speak today. He talked about the opportunity that he had to prove people wrong. And I was thinking about this because which people do you think he's talking about here? Here's Drake Maye.
Yeah, I think just really just what comes with, kind of learning, the NFL quarterback and kind of what comes with, really the title, handling, leadership, learning from Jacoby, what he's done. He's a great leader. Guys, our biggest leaders on the team. How, the verbiage of, calling the huddles, just had my first walkthrough and felt pretty good with the verbiage there. So other than that, just excited for these guys. I think it's an opportunity against a good football team to go out there and prove people wrong.
All right, so when he says prove people wrong, I think he means like that we suck, like that we're a bad team. But I also think he's talking about the people who said that you shouldn't play. You can't go out there. This team's not good enough to support a rookie quarterback, and he wants to prove those people wrong. And he may not be able to because those people might be right. Like they might be right. This team, they can't protect him on the line. The guys can't run the right routes. They can't separate. They can't catch the ball when he delivers it to them, like all that stuff. That could happen. But to prove them wrong, he has to go out there and show them, and it's finally happening.
What if he was talking to his head coach, his offense coordinator, his owner, and his general manager, the people that didn't think he was ready to play in week 1?
Do you think all those people didn't think he was ready to play in week 1?
No. I actually think his head coach thought he was ready to play in week 1 when we go back to the debate of who made the decision and how the decisions. I don't know why we all do this. What's the evidence? Now, I think we all put Alex Van Pelt in the plan category because every time he spoke, he was the most definitive, I felt like, about, there's so much that goes into developing a quarterback and you got to take your time and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, oh, yeah, he's slow playing it. He wants him to not. As for Elliott Wolf, he had the comments to Andrew Callahan. The worst thing in the world is to put him out there when he's not ready and then have to pull him back out. I don't know. Is it the worst thing in the world? Is that really the worst thing in the world? I don't think it's that big a deal. It's a learning experience. But I do think I like that talk, prove people wrong. That's what I think he is. We talked about it even in the summer when some of his practices weren't great, and then we were like, maybe he's a game time kind of guy. Maybe he's just a competitor.
Right.
I think he is a true competitor. I think you're going to see a competitor on the football field, and I think this team could use that because you know what? That snowballs. If they see him doing things, and by they I mean Pop Douglas and Hunter Henry and all these guys around him, I think there will be value for the rest of the team in seeing him kind of compete. Because Jacoby, great respect, but he was kind of a piñata. Like, he showed his toughness by just standing there and taking hits.
Right.
I'd like to see
and
some
throwing passes in the face of of getting hit. I agree
but if
with
you
that,
can do it in a more aggressive way, in a forward-thinking kind of way, maybe a Josh Allen kind of run. Actually, Jacoby had one this week where he ran and kind of led forward with the shoulder, didn't do the whole slide thing.
Right.
But I think that youthful, competitive nature that he brings is going to be a positive for this offense and just the vibe around the unit as a whole.
Yeah, there's going to be excitement. We'll see how long it lasts for.